Yes, my name is George Foreman the Third. I am a certified strength and conditioning specialist, which is what chose me to do this presentation for legal issues in kinesiology for Cal Baptist University. The place I chose to work is the University of Southern California, the John McKay Center, which is the main strength and conditioning facility at the USC campus. I chose USC because I'm Southern California native, historic athletic program, numerous former athletes gone pro, made to the Hall of Fames. And the school has three sports I'm very familiar with, which include soccer, volleyball, and football. And it's a really great facility. State of the art, top of the line equipment. Um, $70 million. What it cost to build. It's 110,000 square feet, and opened eight years ago, back in the summer of 2012. So it's pretty new. As far as risk management issues that go into facilities such as the John McKay Center, the JMC. The first one that good example is actually involved USC Johnson versus USC in Yanchar, 2009. Um, Johnson was a former running back, and while he was at USC, he was bench pressing and had the barbell with weight. It got knocked and slipped out his hand and fell on his neck. Gyancher, who was the assistant strength and conditioning coach, was the spotter. And Johnson's lawsuit claimed that Yoncher was distracted and not paying attention to Johnson during his liftoff of 275 pounds. Uh, Johnson ended up suing about the lawsuit for lost wages because when he got hurt, it kept him from going to the NFL when he was really wanted to. So he lost out some money. Procedures to avoid situations like this would be make sure all the strength conditioning coaches have their undivided attention to the athletes they're spotting, and actually have extra spotters. So if someone's doing bench press, have the head strength or the assistant strength and conditioning coach or the whatever strength and conditioning coach doing the lift off, and have two other players spotting the sides. That's for all heavy lifts. That's what I would impose, and follow the regulations that the NSCA brings puts forth, which is mainly the ratio of athletes to coach, which for college level is 1 to 20. And then two other examples of risk management: Universal Gym Equipment versus Victani. This one, the manufacturer claimed the fitness club improperly instructed the users on how to operate certain squat equipment. And Gonzalez Boulder Health versus Boulder Health and Racket Club and In Shape International. The defendant pointed fingers to the cause of injuries to improper treatment, maintenance, or assembly of the equipment by the fitness club. So at the JMC, a lot of equipment, a lot of athletes using it. To avoid situations like these two cases, um, I require the staff to read all instructions with equipment on how to use it properly, and then demonstrate it to me and the head coaches of all the sports I will be using that equipment. And then because the staff will have read the equipment's instructions thoroughly, they'll know the maintenance of the equipment that is needed. And so I would impose bi-weekly checks of all the equipment in the in the JMC to make sure there's no faulty screws loose or bolts loose and everything's tip-top shape. And if there's any parts that need to be replaced, we get those parts ordered. And as far as employment goes, the JMC hiring and firing staff is solely based on qualifications and performance. There's a lot of sports at USC. There's 21. JMC staff consists of 18 individuals who work with athletes from two of the 21 sports. Will all be educated and qualified for their respective job positions. The firing shall be based on job performance only, and the directors of the two staff, athletic directors, and school presidents will coordinate on how to decide on staff members are to be fired. An example of when a staff member not within the athletic department was fired is Steve Sarkisian, and where this was a good example is when he sued the school for firing him. Let's see. Yeah, he was a head football coach, and he alleged the school breached his contract and discriminated against him on the basis of a disability, namely alcoholism. However, the arbitrator reportedly ruled for USC and ruled that the school did not owe the former head football coach money for the wrongful termination suit. The arbitrator also stated that the rules and laws do not insulate the failure to control a controllable disability, nor afford an employee a second chance to control a disability in the future. USC gave Sarkisian a second chance before he got fired because Sarkisian had a booze-fueled rant at the Salute to Troy event in August 2015, which led USC to require Sarkisian to attend counseling sessions. The school also said it gave the coach an agreement stipulating he could be immediately fired after another similar incident. While the coach signed the agreement, he denied having an alcohol problem at the time. The school then fired him in October 2015, a day after placing him on indefinite leave after he appeared inebriated when arriving for meetings and practice. The arbitrator also stated that Sarkisian must bear their sole responsibilities for actively concealing from USC his claimed disability after the coach initially said he did not suffer from alcoholism after the incident at the Salute to Troy. So the school recognized he had a problem. He lied about it, said he didn't, then fired him after he agreed that he could be fired about it from it. And yeah, so yeah, he wasn't able to perform because of his alcoholism, which USC tried to give him help for, so they got rid of him. And then dealing with employees will have to deal with famous family members of athletes because great facility, so family members will want to come visit. So there'll be a policy for the John McKay Center for friends and family members of athletes who want to visit. Family members and guests, students will receive permission from the head coach from the sport to gain access to the facility and must be escorted by a full-time USC staff member at all times. This policy is to avoid situations that occurred at rival UCLA, where rapper and music producer Sean Diddy Combs ended up being arrested and charged with 3 counts of assault and a deadly weapon and 1 count for making terrorist threats back in June 2015. This happened because when Combs came to UCLA football training facility to confront strength and conditioning coach Sal Alozi after Alozi kicked Justin Combs, his son, out of practice due to lack of effort during the morning workout. Alosi has to enter to call campus security, and then that's when things escalated and took place. Combs attacked Alosi until interns and other personnel were able to pull Diddy off. The celebrity broke free and struck Alosi. Being escorted by a full-time employee will avoid all that. And then also for employees / internships, the job descriptions will be fully described, especially for interns, because along with the JMC, there is the Stevens Academy Center, which employs student interns and graduate assistants under the Assistant Learning Specialist Program. ALS staff assist student athletes with writing, time management, skills, and organizational. And also, the JMC has an internship during the summer. The internship is not paid and fully described upon on the application, and the applicant is aware of it. That's to avoid situations like the West versus Vanderbilt, where Robert West worked as a full-time strength conditioning coach intern from May 2011 until January 2013, and his lawsuit seeked unpaid back pay that would be equivalent to minimum wage, because and in the lawsuit he claimed he was required to be at work during certain hours, but the department did not officially track his hours. Yeah, so JMC interns will be advised of a full-time schedule, what they're doing, on what days, and be um, upon and be aware that it is an unpaid internship to avoid those situations. In regards to application to the things I learned in this class, I learned that the hiring firing process needs to be equal and fair to everybody to avoid those situations. You don't want to go down that road. Those lawsuits can be pretty major when someone claims that they weren't hired or they were fired based on discrimination. Uh, I learned a lot about Title IX and Title VII in regards to those situations. And, and the main thing with the facilities, such as the JMC, just need to have the equipment really maintained because, like I said, there's 21 sports at USC. All of them use the JMC at some point throughout the school year and the seasons, and so we just need to have the properly maintained and properly really trained so the athletes don't get hurt. And in regards to Bible verses that I believe could apply to someone in a managerial role at a strength and conditioning facility, the three like I feel that are the best are Proverbs 24:10. With this one, I feel like training athletes need to deal with adversity, with training hard, and maybe injuries. This one's overcoming injuries and training hard because you're gonna have setbacks throughout the season, and more like while you're training during the off season. And same thing goes with the strength and conditioning coaches that are on the staff, as they'll be right there with athletes, so they need to really push hard. Like, oh, you might be hurt now, but just like do what the athletic trainers say, rehab, and you'll be back. And then another one is Proverbs 10 through 4. Proverbs was it uh chapter 10 verse 4. And this one speaks about being diligent. Um, This conveys the idea that diligent work will lead to success. All managers want to have diligent workers. So whatever they're managing, whether it's the JMC or another strength conditioning facility that is successful and that their employees will want to be successful, and so everyone's successful and it brings a great reputation to the facility. And the last one is Luke's chapter 6, verse 31. This one applies to manager running a facility that and make sure like he will treat his employees how he wants to be treated. This goes for all walks of life, I believe, as you gotta treat people how you want to be treated. If you're a manager, you can't treat your employees like trash because then they won't work there and they'll treat you like trash, and then you're not gonna be successful, make money, or at whatever you're being the manager of. So I feel like at the especially at a strength conditioning facility because there's so many moving parts, and if your staff's unhappy, they're gonna treat the athletes unhappy, or treat the athletes worse, and they're gonna be unhappy, and it's gonna go to the higher ups, and then they'll probably end up getting fired because if there's a bad strength conditioning staff, a prime example of that is I believe it was the oh god I forgot what school it was about 4 months ago where the head strength conditioning coach for about 15 years got fired for using some improper language with some of the players, which is like really bad right now, especially the time we're living in right now. And he ended up getting fired. I want to say was it Iowa? It might have been Iowa, and he got fired. But anyway, hopefully people learn how to treat people better, especially the times we're going through right now. And yeah, just treat people how you want to be treated. That's my presentation. My name is George Form the Third. That's it. I'm saying I need to go fight on.